what exactly is the connection between those locations and the archaeological evidence that Jesus rose from the dead?
No archaeological evidence that Jesus rose from the dead.
Thank
The archaeological evidence is that the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John are historically reliable documents. That was my point.
Because they said the locations of areas that we know exist? Sure.
Because
I
any
mean,
document...
every major religious text does that as well.
No,
I mean,
it does
look at
not.
the Quran. It says locations that can be archaeologically sound. It talks about Mecca and Medina. So
Yes,
why is the Bible
does that.
any better? Why is the Bible, or your interpretation of the Bible, because you don't specify what sect you're part, but I would contest that there'd be a great many Christians that would disagree on your specific nitty-gritty points. That's just the nature of a religion. I mean, there's several billion people part of Christianity. You're not going to agree with all the various nits and
So what's your point?
My point is, why specifically is your interpretation the one you should be listening to?
You shouldn't. You should not take my interpretation. You should be intellectually open-minded and honest enough to get the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John and read them for yourself. Do not take it from me. Read them for yourself, and if you as a history major here at UT have a question about are these documents historically reliable, then Jacob, you've got to do something that I don't think you've done yet. At least you haven't told me, because I've asked you repeatedly this question. How do you determine whether any document is historically reliable? I do it by 4 tests. I hope you have some tests as a history major that you use on any document to determine whether the document is historically reliable or not. So what are your tests, Jacob?
What are my tests? Well,
Yeah.
first, you have to read the historical document. You have to cross-examine it with other various historical documents written around the same time. Look at it from the modern evidence that can be deduced from it today, as I was talking about before, archaeology, etc. And of course, no one individual can deduce whether or not a major historical text is accurate on their own. In fact, I don't think we've been able to do that with the vast majority of historical texts, but I think the closest we can do is look at the various other experts in these fields, cross-examine, and come up with the best solution. Simply put, I think it is naive, at the very least, to say from a certainty that this document, that this source is correct. Like you said to us that don't take my word if the gospel and whatnot is correct, learn about it yourselves. And I think that is a very good way of looking at things. And I compel everyone who is listening to this to do this as well. Look at the gospel, buy them, and read them. But don't just go with the gospel, look at it with a variety of sources, a variety of different perspectives. Buy the Quran, look at the Holy Vedas, look at the great manner of religious historical texts to come up with your own opinions. And once you read it, then, well...
So what is your conclusion? After reading the Gospels, what have you concluded about Jesus Christ?
I haven't read the Gospel, so...
Why not?
Well, truth be told, it's not really the area of history that I'm particularly interested in, and I do find the writings rather dull. Truth be told, I would much rather read the Holy Vedas or the works of Confucius, but...
Why?
Well, because they're in areas I find a lot more interesting, a lot more philosophically round and interesting in my point of view. It's not really a matter of morality or whatnot. I just haven't really gotten to it, to be honest.
Come on, Jacob. You and I are both going to die one day.
Sure.
Jesus Christ died and rose from the dead, supposedly. So don't you think you owe it to yourself as a thinking history major here at UT to study the Gospels and ask yourself, does the historical evidence point to Christ rising or does it not?
Sure.
What's more important than that, Jacob?
Well, I'd say it's just about as important as reading every other major religious text. Have you read the Quran?
Yes, I've read the Quran.
Have you read the Holy Vedas?
Yes, I've read some of the Vedas. Yes, I've read the teachings of Siddhartha.
Have you read every single various religious text?
No, I've not read every single religious text.
Okay. So don't you feel that you owe it to yourself to study the various in-depth oral histories of the various tribal religions of the deep Amazon? Maybe that's just as spiritually valuable to you as reading the Holy Gospel.
Good. And I can promise you, Jacob, if you've read the writings that are found in the deep Amazon jungle down in South America, and if you say, Cliff, this is truth, I'm going to ask, please tell me, Jacob, why have you concluded that those writings from the Amazon jungle in South America speak the truth? The same way I hope you'd ask me, Cliff, why have you thought that the evidence of the Gospels points to Jesus Christ being the truth? That's to be open-minded, right?
Sure.
Okay, so once again, why have you chosen not to read the Gospels carefully in light of the fact that you are at a university in a nation where the Judeo-Christian ethic has been the overriding ethic?
Because I have chosen to prioritize studying and reading other religious texts, simply due out of personal interest. But how about this? What's your name?
Cliff.
I'll make a deal with you, Cliff.
Yep.
I'll read the gospel.
Yep.
If you, in turn,
Yep.
spend some time and effort going to the deepest, darkest corners of, well, just historical records in general, of oral testaments, and deeply in-depth studying the oral traditions of the various Amazonian tribes.
You gotta be kidding me. You just asked me, come on, Cliff, let's make a deal. You're gonna read the Gospels, and you want me to go to the Amazon jungle in South America and check out those...
No.
Okay, what do you want me to read?
I want you to read the various online or in paper accounts of these oral texts and records.
Which
because
ones?
Good question. I'll let
You're
you
the
pick
one who
and
put it
choose.
forward.
I'll let you pick and choose.
Which one do you like that you want me to read?
Truth be told, I don't think either of us have read the various oral texts of the Amazon. I specifically chose that example due to the obscurity of them in mind. But the point of that is that there isn't anything inherently more or less legitimate about those various Amazonian sources. I don't know much about the gospel, as I'm sure you might have deduced, at least about the specific natures of it.
Yeah.
You've given me a title, and that's
All right.
a pretty good title.
Where on earth are you coming from in here when you play some of the type of intellectual games you've been playing with me? You've challenged me, which is legit, to study these different religions from the Amazon. Fair enough, good. But when I ask you, which one do you want me to study? And you say, well, to tell you the truth, I don't know, and I really haven't studied them myself. What on earth are you doing to me? You're just jerking me around, man.
What I'm trying to do is simply what you're trying to do to me, get you to explore various cultures and ideas that you may not have been exposed to.
No,
if you don't want to go
it's
to
not
the
what I've done. I've asked you to read the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John with an open mind, and to ask yourself, does the historical evidence of the way Jesus lived, taught, died, and rose from the dead point to him being a quack? If it does, reject him. Or does it point to him being so reliable that it would be most wise for you to put your faith in him? That's what I've asked you to do.
So, Cliff, if I come back the other day with a title of a various ethnic group in the Amazon with their various...
That you've read and are impressed with.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And tell you to read it.
Yep.
Would you in turn spend a large amount of time studying and reading them if I in turn spend a lot of time studying and reading the gospel?
Sure. Absolutely.
Well, great.
I can promise you when Muslims confront me with how Muhammad is reliable, I read the Quran. I don't read the Bible to find out about Muhammad. I read the Quran. And when a Buddhist challenges me, I don't read the Bible. I read the teachings of Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. And when a Hindu challenges me, I don't read the Bible. I read the Vedas and Upanishads. And I find out about Krishna and learn about karma and reincarnation. That's what it means to respect someone, to take what they say seriously. And so, yes, sir, if you come back here this week, I'll be here every day this week, Jacob. Would hope you could come back. And if you come up to me with a document that and you say, Cliff, I've read this, it seems to be that this is true, I'll read as much as I can. We'll sit right over there on that table afterwards, and then you read the gospel, and I'll read that document, and we'll talk about why we think what we think.
You have yourself a deal.
All right, man. Good. I'll look forward to seeing you later this week, Jacob.
I understand that the point is to ask you questions and hear your answers.
No. People make statements out here, and I ask them to back them up. So you're not just here to listen to me speak or Stuart speak.
You just said people come here to ask questions.
Yeah,
to
we
raise
enter
questions.
dialogue then.
And
We
a
go back and forth.
Exactly, a dialogue.
Yeah, dialogue.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, what don't you know? What's not real clear? What are we hiding?
I'm just saying it feels very one-sided.
All right. Okay, fair enough. So what do you think about God?
What do I think about God? Can you be a bit more specific?
What do you think about Jesus Christ?
Jesus Christ, real guy, he existed, that's about it.
Okay,
Got
why do you believe
crucified,
that?
He's dead.
Why do you believe he was a real guy who really existed? Why do you not believe he's just a fictitious person that people made up?
Well, because there's historical records that state that Jesus Christ existed. While those could have been simply more Christian doctrine, like, there was a profound effect that this one man had on history, and he did exist. I just don't think he's, all that Christians say he is.
Okay, fine. So, what do you think about him, and what's the evidence, or whatever you think about him is true?
What I think about him is true.
What do you think about Christ? Who is he? And second question, Why have you concluded that? What's your evidence to support whatever you think about it?
Well, there's the point. I haven't exactly thought about this question before the moment I walked up here.
Really?
Yeah, and you've been out here the entire time. You've talked with all of us, and so it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right for me to be even talking about this right now.
Well, then why did you start?
Well, because I was just helping my friend out. I was trying to explain his point of view, and then you asked a question, and I thought to answer it.
All right. But you did say you think Jesus was an historical person.
He was a historical person, yeah.
Why do you think that?
Like
What's your evidence that Jesus was a real historical person?
Okay, fine. You got me there. I guess there isn't evidence that Jesus existed, but I guess there isn't really existence that somebody with my name and my identity existed other than my birth certificate and my, government records.
Sir, do you accept anything from history? Or is history a blank?
History is very subjective.
Yeah, it's subjective. Can you know anything about what happened in the United States or not? If I were to tell you that slavery never existed in the United States, what would you say to me?
I would say you're wrong.
Why would you say that I'm wrong? If I genuinely have never seen a slave here in the United States, why would you have the audacity to tell me that I'm wrong? Because I think slavery never existed here in the United States.
Well, there's also just not proof that the world wasn't, invented last Thursday. And by all rights, it's possible that last Thursday, the world and all of us and all of our memories just snapped into existence.
Yeah. Why don't you believe that? Why do you believe that last Thursday actually happened? Why do you trust your memory?
I don't trust my memory. My memory is very faulty. Everyone's is.
You trust it to some extent, don't you? Sure you do.
I can choose to.
I am convinced that slavery was a part of the United States history. It's a tragedy because the historical eyewitness testimony is slavery really happened.